Further appointments, Taupo Youth Awards. I think this is really quite important. There's 2 elected members, and there's one event each year that you become a judge on those youth awards, and you're rotated annually. I do think in the past you were one, Councillor Hickling, and who else was on with you?
Mike.
Oh, two survivors, okay.
I think Gary was actually proposed but he never seemed to. So Mike and I have done it. It didn't turn around annually.
Didn't rotate.
I think we just did it for the 3 terms, didn't we?
Yeah, but I think it's a fantastic.
It is, yeah.
All the councillors want to get involved with it because it just highlights the youth that we've got in our district. It's absolutely, you're mind boggled on when you're sitting down, and not only mind boggled, it's such a hard job. So yeah.
So who else judges with you too?
Some of the principals of the school on the youth council, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a representative from Mangakino. Sorry?
Spark? Christine Belford?
No, that's rural fund. That's a rural.
Yeah.
That's different. So, and then the
school
from
principals.
Christian school, from Taupo Intermediate, Tahara, and
Well, it says here 2 elected members to be judges, 1 event, and rotated annually. So we should nominate 2 people now that do it this year, and then next year we have to have 2 different ones because that's what it's supposed to happen. What we did do is irrelevant. It's what we're supposed to be doing. That's important. So I'll call for nominations for 2 people for the first year of the judging of the Taupo Youth Awards. Councillor Johnson.
Nominate Councillor Kirk.
Councillor Johnson, nominate Councillor Kirk. Seconder, Councillor Williams. Any further nominations? Councillor Downer.
I'd like to nominate Kirsty Truman.
Councillor Downer, nominate Councillor Truman. Our seconder. Got a seconder there. Councillor Johnson. Any further nominations? Remembering that next year we need 2 more, and the year after we need 2 more in this training. Yeah. So all happy with that? For 1 year, Councillor Truman and Councillor yeah. Okay, all those in favour?
Aye.
Okay, now we've got the same situation here with Trustpower Community Awards, which was won this year by what were they called? Just Community Patrols.
That's right. Yep.
So we'll do it the same way, and we'll bring it back that these 2 will be different to Councillor Kirk.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Nicola Williams.
Councillor Williams nominated Councillor Kirk.
I'll second that because she's done it last year, so she's second.
Did you do a good job? Well, obviously you've just
Of course
nominated.
you seconded it.
Seconded Councillor Grant. Do you accept nomination, Councillor Williams?
Yes, I do, unless anyone else wants to have.
We're going to do it. It'll be different to each 3 years. So this 2 people we're nominating now is only for this coming year. Councillor Downer.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Rex Minsher.
Councillor Minsher and seconder Councillor Kirk. Any further nominations? So that's just for the first year coming up. There being none, all those in favour? Thank you. I think this one is very important, and just for
Do you want to take a pause here because I can't remember if you said we do schedule 1 and not schedule 2.
My suggestion is that actually we go through and everybody kind of nominates or just builds a list of the scheduled 2 appointments or scheduled 2 organisations, and then we go through the appointments process. So basically somebody take bids on, yeah, we should have this one, yeah, we should have that one. Given the previous discussion.
Which organisations you want to nominate to, because you don't have to. So decide which organisations you want to out of this list before actually deciding who you're going to put them on. Who's going to go on to them. You don't have to appoint anybody to Waiora Community Trust or to the Sports Advisory Council.
why does it say up here that there must be an elected member?
Organisations that council may choose.
May choose,
yeah.
right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
decide if you want to, and then decide who you want to.
So on page 6 bar 5, numbers 15, 16, 17 and 18, council may choose to make an appointment to these trusts or organisations. So we're going to go through them and decide whether we want to appoint somebody before we nominate that person. Is that clear, crystal clear? Right. So number 15, which is Waiora Community Trust, is great. Just so people know a little bit of the background, it was vested in Taupo District Council for us to run for community services and what have you. Underlying loan is probably the Crown or DOC or something like that. It's vested in us. Of course, that trust is formed and it runs a lot of social services from there. And it has growing pains. at the moment, and I think they have plans in the next 3 years for expansions and what have you. Second to that, they've just gone through their annual process of their board and their chairperson, Councillor Blythe, Mrs. Blythe, I'm so used to it, is now the chair of Waiora House, and we have the ability, we may or may not choose, to nominate an elected member who doesn't have a vote. It meets 12 times a year, which is monthly, obviously, in an observing role, but also you've got speaking rights and what have you, and it performs that linkage back to council. My opinion personally is that we should, because we need to know where we can help and what we can do, but that's up to you. So I'm opening the floor to discussion that should we or should we not appoint someone to Waiora House? Any comments, please? What's your feeling? Let's go around the table. How do you feel about it, Councillor?
Yes, definitely.
Councillor Johnson? Councillor Kirk?
Oh, absolutely.
Councillor Downard? Councillor Williams? Okay, so that decision is made that we will make an appointment to Waiora House, Waiora Trust. We'll come back to that. Same thing for Taupo Sports Advisory Council. One elected member, and they actually, in their constitution, allow that councillor to have a vote. You are a voting member. They only meet once a year. Sports Advisory Council.
They meet 12 times a year, Your Worship.
Oh, just a mistake.
Yeah.
12. Typo. Sorry, Tim. 12 times a year, 12 times PA per annum. 2 councillors. Do you feel that because you have the right, you may or you may not?
Can I speak on that? I've had a lot to do with Mark and the people down at Sports House that they really would like council people on it.
They would like that?
They would like it, yes.
It's our job to serve as people wish, so I'll take that as read, shall we? Yep. That we will appoint 2 councillors when we come back to the top again.
Yep.
Waipahihi Botanical Society can have an elected member on it. We may have one on it, we may not have one. I'm repeating myself. It is a voting member. It meets monthly, 12 times a year. Councillor Hickling is already on that board by virtue of his own right, not via the council, by being on that board.
I would certainly like a council representative, Your Worship.
So on behalf of the Waipahihi Botanical Society, you're saying that they would like us to appoint a councillor to that?
It's in their constitution, actually.
So is everybody comfortable that we will be doing that when we come back to the top of the page? Okay, thank you. Taupo International Relations Committee. Now, I spoke to you before about this morning. I don't think people realise just how big a job that Councillor Blythe in the last triennium actually did on this committee. Councillor Blythe wasn't a person that said a lot. She was a person who worked very, very hard behind the scenes. I witnessed it. She probably did many, many weeks of 4-hour days doing a lot of preparation out there, and sadly she's not with us in this triennium. But if you think about putting your name forward for this, please realise it's a very, very big job. We've got Japanese delegations that come in. We've got a delegation from New Mayor here next week, including the Mayor Jean Lake and his delegation. The Rugby World Cup coming up. It's a lot of work, and it's not just all hui. There's a very, very lot of doughy. So you may or you may not again choose to put the Mayor and 2 councillors on there. Councillor Dana?
Can we put a mayor and 3 councillors on there if there wish be?
That's a good
Because
question. You are governance, you are the council, it is your committee. I would say yes, but I'll ask for advice from Mr. McLeod.
Just to clarify, this isn't actually a council committee. I mean, once upon a time, yes, council was heavily involved in actually setting it up, but it actually exists in its own right. There is no that I can find of any formal constitution of the committee, so the actual makeup is probably a little bit fluid, and I don't think that would actually, if you nominated 3 people to go on it, I don't think that would certainly matter to the committee. I'm sure they'd be happy for any number to be there.
I've actually just before I come back to you, Councillor Craig, you were first. Sorry about that. Just before I come back to you, it's my intention. Now we've already done this on the previous page to workshop this issue with Wairiki Tourist Park. That next workshop, I'd like a half an hour or so to workshop this as well, so we can really get into the nuts and bolts of this, because I just feel it's a bit of a tiger by the tail, and I'd like all, especially you new ones, to realise just what is happening in there, what the responsibilities are, or what you want the responsibilities to be with International Relations Committee. So it's my intention, if you will support me, to move this item to, and we'll workshop it before we come back to it.
Can I just add to that, because I fully agree with what you said, Your Worship. I've been as a sector representative on this committee for a couple of years, and the definition of it on page, whatever it is here, 18, it's going to develop in sister city networks. It was on the minutes about 2 years ago that it was no longer a committee dealing with that. It was a committee dealing with the whole international area of our visitor industry. And speaking with CEO Rob Williams, I think it's got to be a more of an economic driver than it has a goodwill driver. So I fully endorse your contention of having another look at the whole workshop.
We'd like to do that because it's just a little bit of a tiger by the tail at the moment. We're not sure if we should, we're not sure if we did, we're not sure should we be. I've really got to get a feel for this and where you want to go. You know, Taupo's future is in the visitor industry. Where's all the linkages and synergies? So if we could workshop and just drop that for today would be appreciated. Okay, we need a nomination for provincial sector representative on the National Council of Local Government New Zealand. One elected member now. We have, I would like to nominate Councillor Crate. You are going down to the Provisional Sector 2 meeting, I believe, on the 19th.
Zone 2 on this Friday, yes.
So if I could have a seconder to my nomination. Seconded Councillor Williams. All those in favour?
Aye.
So you need to go back now.
Now we need to go back up to the top and call for the nomination for the Waiora Community Trust, which is chaired by Mrs. Blythe. One elected member. Do I have a nomination, please?
I'd like to nominate Chris Johnson.
Councillor Henderson nominating Councillor Johnson. A seconder, please. Seconded Councillor Truman. Any further nominations? Being none. Or was there? No? Okay. Forever hold your peace. All those in favour?
Aye.
So carried. Taupo Sports Advisory Council. 2 councillors. 1 meeting a month. You are voting members. I think only 1 councillor is actually allowed to vote, but you have 2 councillors on it. Is that right, Mr. Bell? Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, yes, that's right.
So we appoint 2 councillors, but they only have 1 vote.
That's right.
If that's right, that's right. So 2 nominations. Councillor Johnson.
Can I nominate Councillor Expenditure?
Okay, let me just go back over I'm getting some clarification here. Taupo Sports Advisory Council, you're telling me, Mr. CEO, Mr. Williams, that previously we've had 2 councillors, but the Constitution didn't allow for 2 councillors. We've done our homework, we've cleaned out our cupboards, and we've found out that we're only supposed to have 1 councillor on there. So there will only be 1 councillor on there. Is that what you're saying to me?
That's how I read this, yes.
Is that right, Ms. Gilbert?
It's a very similar situation to the Waiora House, where the Constitution said one thing. That in this particular case, I think there was a desire for additional members to be there, but not necessarily have voting rights. It was more of an interest, as I understand it. So there's nothing to stop you from still having somebody as an extra observer.
Okay, so we can call for 2 nominations today.
Yes, but
we
you need to be
appoint
clear
2
about
people.
who's the voting member.
But 1 person has to be the voter.
Yep.
Well, could I comment on that, Your Worship?
Yeah.
I know Michael and myself was on that committee from council. I don't think we had a problem with voting. We both voted on just about everything, didn't we? And it didn't seem to be a problem. So whilst the Constitution may say that, certainly I had my fair share of votes on there, and so did Michael. So.
What staff, if I understand this right, and please correct us so things are crystal clear, because You know, sometimes they're about as clear as muddy water sitting up here, but so are you saying that you have revisited the constitutions, what have you, and found out that we weren't actually doing it correctly and that we only had one vote? Well, what we did in the past, I don't really want to know about, but if we were wrong, we were wrong, but we're not here to jail anybody.
No.
We're here to try and get it right. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Your Worship. We can have one voting member and council may appoint another councillor to participate, but they don't have voting powers.
So what we did in the past might not necessarily have been the correct thing. Is that what you're saying?
That's possible.
I'm not looking for prisoners. Okay? Cool. So we're going to nominate 2 people and they only have 1 vote. Are we all comfortable with that? And whoever those 2 people nominate are going to have out outside before that.
I don't think both Michael and I didn't really realise that either one of us had voting rights.
They were happy to have 2 people's inputs and voting, I think. So.
Well, let's not dig ourselves down too many. Hey, staff have a responsibility to governance as management to tell you what your constitutions, what your rules, and where your boundaries are. They've told you what you do when you go into your meeting. I don't want to know about it, okay? But they have done their job and they have told you what the Constitution says. Councillor Downer.
I'll second Rex Mintzer, and then I'll just come from the angle that one of the reasons was to get rid of the meeting fees is that anyone that's passionate about any of these groups should be able to go, and I personally am passionate about sports, so I will be turning up to every meeting, and I'd like to give the voting rights to Rex because I've been there for 3 years and thoroughly enjoyed working with the volunteers that are in that organisation, but I'll be turning up to every meeting as usual. So.
Well, I did say that before. Anybody wants to go to any meeting, whether you're elected there or not, you are always ex officio, and I know you'll always be welcome. Your input is always welcome, but you have processes and protocols, and you only have 1 vote no matter how many you turn up. So again, I'll call for nominations to the Taupo Sports Advisory Council, because we haven't got any nominations at this. Or you did have a nomination?
I second
Rex has been nominated.
Chris.
Okay, that's cool. Bring me up to speed here. Councillor Mincher has been nominated by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Kirk. Further Councillor Downard. Okay, got it right. Further nominations, Councillor Kirk.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Mike Downard.
Councillor Mike Downard. And that's seconded by Councillor Mincher. Do you accept nomination, Councillor?
Yes, I do, and I'll give the voting rights to Rex, put him in the hot seat.
I think that's what you need to add to Mr. Mitchell's nomination.
Sure, we're not to give him a half vote each.
I'm absolutely positive I don't want to do that.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to be funny. And it's not working. And in that nomination, were there any further nominations? There being no further nominations, would the nominees be happy if the number 1 nominee, which was Councillor Mincher, has the voting power as per the Constitution? Aye. All those in favour? Aye. Carried, thank you.